name is SHWTV.
Hey, my name is Ashley Panzu and I'm an actor.
Hi guys, my name's Kai. Nice to meet you all.
Hi guys, it's Mahari Sterling and I'm here to take part in the SHW Arts and Emotions project.
My name is Joshua Obwe. I use my normal name and I also use the name Jacob.
Hello, I'm Khalid Boyna Aplu. Today I'm joined by SHWTV, going through Arts and Emotions. With all that being said, let's get into it.
How long have I been interested in the arts? If we're going to talk consistently, since about the age of 12. If we're talking inconsistently, probably about since the age of 5.
I have been interested in the arts since I was about 11 years old. When I was 11, I booked my first short film called Homebound. I was 11 when I was acting in that, and that taught me a lot when it comes to acting. And then after that, I moved on to musical theatre. I've been doing musical theatre since primary school, and I started doing it while I was in secondary school as well. And the reason I chose screen acting over musical theatre because, I don't know, I just feel more free being on screen. And when I was little, I used to watch all those kids shows like Nickelodeon, Disney Channel. Like I used to watch all those shows, Disney XD. I used to watch all those shows and see how the cast members be having fun on set and behind the scenes, and that really sparked an interest as me as a kid. So that's why I decided to hop on the acting career. So yeah.
So I've been acting since I was 4 years old. I had a break, went to primary school, then secondary school. No, I was in primary school, sorry. But then obviously I went to secondary school, did the GCSEs, and now I'm going into college. I'm able to go back into that acting and continue doing it because that's what I like. It's always been a hobby, so yeah.
I've been interested in the arts for, I would say since 9, but I started taking it seriously at 14. So I would say for like the past 6 to 7 years.
Yeah, I'm mostly interested in acting, to become a professional actor one day, because that's what I aim and aspire to be in the future, to do, because I see myself doing that. I don't see myself doing anything else.
So how long have I been into the arts? That's a good question. The real question is, how long have I not been into the arts? Honestly, I've been into the arts forever, a long time. When I was younger, I used to imagine myself in movies that I'd watch, or I used to act out scenes from movies. I used to imagine myself in different scenarios just so I could act. My mum took me to see Chicago when I was younger, and best believe I was singing there's no business like show business, the old business I know. For some time to come. Blah. English is not Englishing. That will teach me for trying to show off. About to get singing lessons, guys. So yeah, I've been interested in the arts for a while in various different capacities. So drawing, painting when I was young, even ceramics, to be honest with you. I tried my hand at pottery. My mum got me a little set. People would buy me books to teach me to draw and stuff like that. My grandma's house, there would be paints. I've always been quite dramatic. I mean, I wouldn't call myself eccentric, but people say, oh, Kai, why are you being so dramatic? And it's like, life is drama. Drama is life. No, just joking. But like, sometimes life gets, so you just have offhand, off the cuff reaction. And that's why acting is the best, or dramas are the best, because sometimes life is dramatic and you're like, oh my gosh, you got that experience too. And that's why when we're all watching a certain scene from a movie, we might laugh, or when we hear the lyrics of a certain song, we might go So what else about the arts? When I was younger, my friends and I in primary school, we used to write songs. Yes, we grew up in that High School Musical era. So yeah, we all wanted to be songwriters. I used to love creative writing as well. That's definitely a part of the arts. I was very into fashion. I used to draw different outfits. I believe that's a part of the arts. You know, expressing yourself, through clothing. I wanted to get into modelling for a while. But you know, dark-skinned girls haven't always been in. So yeah, a long time. I would definitely say below 10, maybe even below 5, but definitely below 10. And another thing actually, Steph and I are first cousins, and after Sunday dinners, our grandma would get us, so myself, Steph, my brother, and my cousin, Steph's sister, to put on performances. So we'd come up with little storylines, little character arcs, very small character arcs. Bearing in mind it's a Sunday after dinner, maybe approaching 4 or 5 p.m, and we'd all have school the next day on the Monday. We'd have singing in it and everything, and they'd record. Actually, we should try and find a home movie. Sorry to actually Steph. Let the cat out of the bag.
What arts am I interested in? I'm interested in all of them, to be honest. Obviously, my first love is acting, like I've said in the past, that my first love has. And at some point, I would say always, but at some point it wasn't. But my first love is acting, followed by spoken word, poetry. I'm into the music, I listen to it more than I rap it, but I can write. I do like to write bars from time to time, but you probably never hear that. So if I had to say what arts am I interested in specifically, acting, spoken word, poetry, and music.
So yeah, in terms of arts, I am into screen acting and also like going to the studio and making music with my friends. So I would say screen acting and music are my two mains.
For arts I'd like to go into is mainly acting, of course. I don't mind a bit of gaming. Maybe I could do like a YouTube channel on the side, I don't know, maybe. Or maybe start a TikTok channel. You never know, there's a lot of options which comes under media. So yeah, I might just experiment in the future and see what suits me, really, see what I like, and then I'll keep on doing it.
I like acting, filmmaking, music, and the whole filmmaking process is very interesting to me. Yeah, it's cool. Like, I just like, you know, having an idea and then bringing it to life, whether that be through a song or through playing a character or through like just writing it on script and then just seeing the whole process come together. I take that, I just enjoy the whole experience together.
Recently, I've been exploring my roots. I would say a few roots in the industry, such as filmmaking and script writing and maybe directing as well. But yeah, that I mainly do those on like for my projects that I do, either for school or my production company, which I'm setting up. Still a work in progress, but yeah. But if you have time, I release a few clips on the Instagram page and the YouTube channel as well. So if you search up 005 Productions on Instagram and YouTube, you'll see it pop up, and you see that I've uploaded a few videos on it. So yeah, it's still a work in progress, but yeah, I'm mostly interested in becoming an actor and doing films and all that. But yeah,
I am interested in various arts. So I'm an actress, yes, a professional actress, although still I would say that I'm at the start of my career. Yeah, we persevere, we continue to try. So I've attended drama school part-time. I started working on my first professional production last year. However, I became unwell, so I'm just recovering at the moment and doing a short course on production and events management, because I really want to learn more about the industry. Though I'm an actress, I've started writing and definitely aspire to put on my own productions, whether that's TV, film, theatre, and would also very much like to direct my own work. But really, I just want to have a fuller understanding of the industry and what it takes to be a filmmaker, or even just take part in the production or creative experience, because I really want to impact people and what they watch, and how they experience what they watch, if they take it away and do something about it, if they're just mesmerized and entertained. In fact, that's why I like Spike Lee so much, because he tends to educate audiences and remind them that they're watching something that they're supposed to take away and take very seriously. Other arts, I do like drawing, and I hope to get into children's animation, so maybe drawing myself or hiring a cartoonist or cartoonographer. Definitely voiceover, I'd love to do, and people have been saying, "Kai, you should try." What else am I interested in about the arts? Oh, spoken word for sure. Done quite a few of those, and yeah, really enjoy it. It's really nice for freedom of speech and freedom of expression as well.
Do I feel as a man that I can express myself freely without any fear? Nah, not really, to be honest. Maybe that's my own insecurity, but I feel like as men, a lot of the time, when we do express our emotions, a lot of us have a fear that it will come back to bite us later, or someone might use it against us, and that shouldn't be the case. Which is why, for me personally, I prefer to write about it, because I can be as open, as honest as I want with myself. I can, like, if I want to swear, if I want to really go in, I can go in. If it's a person that's affecting me, if it's a situation that's affecting me. Whereas I feel like with talking, sometimes someone might not be listening to you fully, they might not understand it, probably might not even care. So I feel like that's my reasons behind it. I can't speak for every man, but me personally, do I feel like I'm able to express myself freely through speaking to people as a man? Not 110%, no. But maybe, like I said, I think that's due to my own insecurity and not other people.
Do I feel like I can express my emotions? Yes, I feel like I can express my emotions. I got certain friends, certain family members that I can talk to, but deep down I know not to overshare and talk too much, because if you tell someone too much, then it can get long, and yeah man, it's just long.
So I feel like you are to certain degrees, because obviously if you see a man having a breakdown, you sort of get confused, because that's not, in today's society, that's not how we're represented, if that makes sense. But I feel like definitely when acting, you're definitely able to express yourself, and it's so when it comes to like crying or something, or you're having a mental breakdown, I feel like you're expressing yourself there. So yeah, I feel like I am.
Yeah, personally, I do feel like men find it hard to express themselves and their feelings to the public and society, because I know that society do have a certain expectation on how men should act and behave, and due to that reason, I think that's the reason that why most men in the world find it hard to express how they're feeling. But sometimes we do, as men, we do it to ourselves, like we do put ourselves in that situation. But men do, even from like personal experiences, men do find it hard to express themselves.
When it comes to expressing myself as a man, as a creative, this is something I struggled with a lot, because it's like the fear of judgment is just very heavy when you talk about like heavy subjects in like through your art, and like sometimes I've struggled with like just being open about how I really feel, especially when it comes to like writing certain scripts that deal with certain topics, or like, you know, creating a song about, you know, how I felt in the past about certain things. So I feel like it's very difficult as a man, as a male creative, to speak about how you feel.
Do I prefer expressing myself through conversation or through art? Well, I mean, I kind of clarified in my last answer, but to clarify even more, definitely through the art, because I listen to myself. I know how I like to structure things, what I like to hear, how deep I would like to go with the conversation that I'm having with myself or writing down in my pen and pad. I also feel like expressing it through art can reach a wider range of people compared to just speaking to someone. At the same time, I'm not going to knock and say that conversation isn't good to have with people if you're feeling something or if you're feeling a particular emotion, because people can help. But a lot of the time, I personally just feel expressing myself through my art is the better way, because talking, you can either sound like a broken record at times if it's still bothering you, or like I've said in the past, people are not actually listening. Sometimes you never know what people are going to use to their gain from what you've told them. So for me, I think I'd rather express it through my art. Whether I choose to release that now is a different story, but definitely through my art.
Expressing myself through art, yes, I do that a lot actually. Like when I make my short films and my feature films, I kind of tend to express myself a lot through my work. For example, let's say something bad happened to me like a long time ago. I've been making slight remarks in my projects and stuff. So yeah, I'll totally say that I do that.
Do you prefer expressing yourself through a conversation or arts? So me personally, I prefer to express myself through arts. It's one of the main reasons why I chose to act as well, because obviously you've got all of these different characters which you'll bring into life essentially, and I just think that that's pretty cool, if I'm being honest. And also it's a skill as well, and it teaches you as yourself like how to like reach the limit, if that makes sense, how to just keep on creating and just bringing stuff from your mind to the actual table that makes sense. So yeah.
I don't like to express myself like through conversation, because I don't like talking a lot, and when I talk it just makes me like go back to a certain like headspace. So I think like through art, I must definitely use my I must definitely explain my emotions through my artistic my artistic you know, field, which is music, acting, writing scripts and all that. Yeah.
Well, as you can probably tell by now, I'm quite the conversationist. I'm quite the conversationalist. So I do enjoy a good conversation. Like I enjoy a good, deep, meaningful conversation. Like Steph will tell you, we'll be on the phone for hours. In fact, when I was in Australia on my semester abroad, it'd be like night for me, and then it'd end up being night for him, and you know they have a big time difference. It's, yeah, definitely 12 hours, but sometimes in the year it's a bit less, maybe like 8 hours. It really depends on daylight saving and everything. So yeah, I love good convo, especially deep topics. You know, when you come away from talking to someone, you're like, like, I'm gonna remember this conversation for a while, or that was deep, or like, oh, we vibed, you know. So sometimes I like to talk about my feelings, and sometimes I like to express them in art. So in terms of spoken word, sometimes it's easier to just put it on paper or create some rhythm or add in some wordplay, because sometimes it's difficult to articulate your feelings, or sometimes you, I don't know, a good example I like to give is, I mean, one guy tried to call me when my great-grandma had passed away, back in, I think, 2017, when I was in my first year at uni, the summer, and he wanted to console me, but I was still getting to know him, so I was like, you know, when someone doesn't really know you, what pushes your buttons, what makes you tick and stuff. And then one of my best friends, like one of my closest male friends, called me and we didn't even talk about the fact that my grandma had passed. Like, it was definitely to console me, I know that, but we didn't talk about it. We just, I don't know, spoke about other things, mundane things, like, or not even mundane things, just like the everyday kind of stuff. We ended up like having a laugh, having a joke, and it was like, I was so relieved from the fact that I didn't need to talk about that sad thing that was on my mind, and I didn't have to pretend to be strong, or I didn't have to explain how I was feeling. I could just be, but I knew at the same time he was there to support me. And then something similar happened with two of my older cousins. We had the most mundane conversation about the art of having a cup of tea with a biscuit, like dipping it in to the point where it's like not completely soggy and doesn't get lost in your tea, but then also not too hard. And we were all in the room, in Grandma's room, mourning her passing, but we weren't speaking about it, but we were fully committed to this conversation about dunking your biscuit into a cup of tea. Yeah, we all had cups of tea. We weren't just talking about tea randomly for no reason. We were all having tea. Like, it was late in the evening, you know, Grandma had just passed. We got the news, we would come down. So it really depends. Like, sometimes it's easier to express yourself through your art, because then you don't truly have to talk about it, or you feel like you're not truly being vulnerable. However, at the same time, with like spoken word, you feel so vulnerable. It's like, will people like this? This is a little piece of me. Do you know what I mean? These are my thoughts and something I've deeply been meditating on. Or even in terms of acting, when you're in drama class and you get critiqued and they give you feedback, it's like, that felt like you just stabbed me in the heart, but it's all for the better, it's all for the greater good. I don't think I have a particular preference, but what I do like is feeding my emotions into my art, whether that's acting or spoken word. Sometimes it's difficult accepting those emotions. I definitely prefer to, in my acting, draw from dramatic imagination rather than recalling old memories and bringing them up. I personally think that's unhealthy, to draw from old memories and make yourself sad, because then it's really difficult to come out afterwards. Whereas with dramatic imagination, it's, you know, it's just imaginary. Like, for example, last year I was doing a workshop and I was doing a monologue from Roses Are Red, and in that monologue the mother had passed away, and the character was talking to their psychiatrist about their feelings towards it, and I just had to imagine that my mum had gone and I was talking to a psychiatrist about it, and I was either in tears or close to tears after the monologue, because I was really channeling that emotion and those thoughts, like, what if my mum was gone? And people were like afterwards, are you okay? Are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I just hope that my mum's there when I get home. Obviously, she usually would be, but say she'd pop to the shop, then I'd be like, oh gosh, Mum. But at the same time, I know that as soon as she comes walking through those doors, it's like, okay, I'm remembering this was just a scene that I was acting out. Whereas if you're drawing from traumatic memories, I think that does damage to your mind, and you don't have that real person walking back in to jog you back into reality and remind you it was all just an act. So yeah, I don't have a defined preference. I like both. I personally like to work through my emotions and take the time to process and heal. I definitely think that's for the best. The boast. It can help you even perhaps later on in your acting, when you've got to a healthy stage, not draw and recall those memories, but like kind of have context and be able to empathize with a character that you might be acting out.
How do I convey my emotions through my art? Well, me, I like to create characters, whether I'm angry, sad, happy, ecstatic, mellow, like whatever I'm feeling, I like to create a character, create a story behind it, so I can kind of tell the story in a way that not only that I'll understand, but if I'm able to, or if I want to produce it or do whatever I want to do with it, I can tell that story clearly too. In my spoken word, a lot of it can be based on characters, but that's the more realistic stuff. I just write in a very subliminal way, like my emotions will be clear as hell, but what the situation is might not be, because I don't always feel like I want to dive deep into what the issue is. I like to just try and touch the surface, and then if I do want to go deeper with it, I can do another part, or I can even dip back into the character bag and place a character on top of it that will allow me to think deeper for the sake of the narrative I'm trying to give. So I definitely say that's how I convey my emotions through the art.
How do I convey my emotions through art? I'll say, yeah, same thing. I just make slight remarks.
So, mainly I practice with my facial expressions, because obviously I think that's one of the main ways how to show whether a character is sad, happy, angry, you know, etc. So that's my main focus at the moment. Also, I suppose, I actually sit down and I talk to the person. So like, let's say the director, he's telling me to do this and do that. I ask them questions and all that, because obviously everyone gets confused, and if you don't know how they want you to play it, how they want you to express yourself, then you never know. You'll just end up messing it up and then you'll get fired. So that's another way how I'll learn how to express myself.
Yeah, how I convey my emotion through my art is, well, it depends really. Like, let's say if it's acting and I play a certain character that have a bad experience, or maybe a good experience, or maybe just a traumatic experience, I'll put myself in the character's shoes and think about the traumatizing experience I had before, or any good experience I had before, or any sad or bad experience I had before. But if I do get the chance when I'm writing scripts, which I love doing, because writing scripts, it's like you have the power to change your own story, which I find it so satisfying and so fascinating. But when I do get the chance to write scripts, I just let out all my emotions into this and that character, and in the settings as well. So yeah, that's how I usually convey my emotions through my art and my creativity. So yeah.
For me, it's like an experience is something that's important to me, right? So like, I can't rap about something that I don't know. I can't write a film about something that I've never experienced. So there's always like a part of me that's in my project, and my emotions are always in my projects. Like, for example, I ran a short film about like mental health in men, and I've seen people around me, you know, go through mental health challenges. So that's why I decided to write that film. Or for my music, I could talk about like, you know, going through that heartbreak and that, or like, you know, just talk about my just me not being happy with myself, or me being angry about certain things that have happened in the past, you know, all that kind of stuff, right? So, you know, that's how I use. I think it's very cathartic for me to express myself through my art, and it allows me room just to like, you know, let it go, kind of thing.
That's quite multifaceted, to be honest. It depends on what art we're talking about. With my spoken word, it's like I often am meditating on something for a long time, something that really stirs my emotions and gets my mind ticking, and I'm usually very prayerful about it. So an example of one was during lockdown, during the Black Lives Matter movement. There were just so many things on my mind. I needed to or wanted to create a spoken word piece, a lot of scriptures came to my mind, because I'm just very in my word, you know, I'm very in my Bible. So that was a way. So like sometimes you come across the perfect phrase and you're like, this is exactly what I'm feeling. So sometimes it was scripture and I was like, okay, I'm going to put that into my spoken word. Or sometimes it might be popular catchphrases or sentence from a song, or yeah,
What advice would I give to a creative trying to express their emotions through art? I would say just do it in a sly way, you know what I mean? Because let's say someone has pissed you off and you diss them in your work. If they hear that, then it's kind of peak still. But on a serious note, what I would say is just be free, man. Just be who you are. If you want to express yourself through your work, then do so. Like, it's a free world. You can do what you want.
Arts. So I think right now, if you're still at school, obviously just complete school. But while you're in year 10, year 11, look at performing art schools, because obviously that's what I did, and that's how I started doing acting, right? That's how I got, like, I always compared it to the theory. Obviously you got the theory, then the car test. Right now, obviously you need to do the theory. You need to go to a performing arts school to get the knowledge, then go to drama school, and then that's when you can start acting, if that makes sense. So right now, I think you should find a college which specializes in performing arts, media, or whatever it is, because it really places you up on a table, if that makes sense.
The third piece of advice I would give is be dedicated to your craft, and your craft will be dedicated to you. I haven't seen this myself yet, but I feel like it's definitely a true factor when you look at how hard people have gone in the past. Nowadays, you do get some people that have just like had ideas and just kind of blown for the first time, but then you have those who have really put their work in for years or months upon end, and then finally they get their big break. But that's because they had their dedication to their art. So I definitely say stay dedicated to your art, and your art will stay dedicated to you.
Yeah, the advice I would say, which definitely helps me a lot, and which, like, however you're feeling right now, or the thoughts, the pain, the suffering, the happiness that you experienced before, just grab a piece of paper or notebook or anything and write it all down. Like, make a list of how you're feeling. Like, it could be like such as I feel like eating something, or I feel like going to the loo, or anything. Just write any thoughts and feelings you have, and then try and transform that list into your creativity, and transform it into how you can communicate your emotions to the audience. But yeah, that's the best example I can give to any young creatives. But yeah,
I feel like if you're young creative, being a creative is very, you have to be very bold, and you have to be strong, and you have to have a very strong mind. So like, you can't let certain things affect you. I always say to that is that, like, just go for it. Don't think twice about what people think, because at the end of the day, your craft is speaking to someone. Whether it's a film, whether it's a song, whether it's your performance, like, people are always going to be affected by it. So always try to, like, allow yourself the room to just be to be able to convey, your emotions and how you really feel about certain things in your art. Because then I think then that sparks conversation.
I would give you advice that I was given. Just stay creative. Just stay creative, for whether it's you're an actor and you're in work at the moment, make your spoken word pieces, start writing, make a little skit, I don't know, do classes, or whether you're a writer and you just don't know how to start, just start. you know? Even if it's rubbish, start, rewrite it, rework it, maybe even talk it over with somebody. And I'd say something that really helps for me is having life experiences. So allowing your life to inform you. In fact, I was watching Kobe Bryant, his advice to people trying to pursue their dreams and their goals. And he was talking about how life is your library and can inform you. And I thought that is so true, especially for the arts and acting. It really is, the arts is a reflection of life. So if you're not experiencing life, if you're not having everyday experiences, what do you have to say to the people? What do you have to contribute to society? You know, I think art is freedom of expression. It can be political, it can be emotional. So yeah, just get started, stay wide awake, and fully commit. Like, don't be afraid, be transparent, just be yourself and stay authentic and true to yourself. Don't compromise your morals. I know, easier said than done, but yeah, in the Bible it says a man's talents opens doors for him, or makes rooms for him. Makes room for him. So listen, the world will either accept you or they won't. Take it or leave it. And you know what? You'll feel better once you've got stuff off your chest. Not everyone's gonna like it. You're not gonna be everyone's cup of tea, unfortunately. But yeah. Hey guys, so just to clarify earlier, that was supposed to be a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. That was taken from Proverbs 18 verse 16. I don't want to misquote scripture to you guys. I figured you guys would gain something from it. It might really encourage you guys along your journeys, because you know us creatives have to stay perseverant. Sometimes we have to stay broke and penniless too. No, I'm joking. I'm sure it informs the art and the emotion. Yeah, it's all good. Stay blessed, stay encouraged.
Does race play a factor when it comes to expressing my work? Me personally, I have not experienced racism in my life. Yeah, I haven't, and I do know some people that have experienced racism when it comes to showing their work. And what I'll say to a young creative person that's coming in this industry, I'll say is, know who you are. Just know that those people that are being racist and stuff, like, they're basically like very low, and you shouldn't really be in the same category as them. Like, you're much more better, you're creative, you're working on your own work. You know what I mean? Just stay positive and keep doing you.
Has race ever played a part in how I convey my emotions? Oh, you're damn right, that's definitely. Like, more when I was younger than now. Now, I'll be honest, I don't really care too tough what people have to say about my thing if it's negative. But when I was younger, it was definitely a thing of where, especially because I was a teenager, I was quite angry with a lot of things. I didn't want to be seen as an angry black kid ranting about things in the world that I don't understand or don't particularly like about it. So I definitely think as I got older, I tried to tone down the anger and actually try and speak the narrative out through my spoken word. Even in performances I've done in acting as well, like if there's a situation that's bothered me, I definitely think I've had to put a factor on race, because I know for a fact with me being a young black person, even with it being a character portrayal, people might look and think, oh, but is that really a character? Even though that shouldn't involve race, to me personally, I just feel like that's always been a thing. So I definitely feel like race has impacted the way I convey my art.
Luckily, I've been fortunate enough for race not really to have a problem. Maybe it's because obviously it's 2022 and maybe there's not enough people of race on the screen, if that makes sense. So maybe that's why they need more of us, maybe, or something. And also, I think it sort of does help me express myself, because maybe going to school and all that Obviously, when I went to school, it was a difficult time. So coming out now and acting, bringing all that emotion from back then in school, kind of does play on it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I suppose race does play a factor during whenever I express myself through arts.
Yes. So an example of this would be, again, as I was saying, during lockdown when the Black Lives Matter movement broke out, I created a spoken word piece with all my feelings and emotions towards just the whole race dichotomy, and everything. I put everything I kind of had into it, all my feelings and stuff, whether that be about segregation within the black community, or there being some sort of separation between the races, or us crying out for help with police, or just anything. Yeah. So that was just really a way for me to speak and get people to think and get the emotions off my chest, because I'm sure a lot of people would understand it was very overwhelming. I mean, we're in a global pandemic, there's a lockdown, and then on top of this there's a whole racial political crisis breaking out, unrest all around the world. So it was breath, freedom of expression.
Yeah, I do think we can express our emotions through art. I'll say that, me personally, what I do is, let's say something bad happened to me in my past, I would put that into my work so people can see and see how it is, basically.
So I would say, if you're looking to try and learn how to express yourself or how to just act in general, really you need to find an acting school. Either an acting school, drama school, whatever it is, you need to find it, because it pretty much helps you to get jobs in the future, and it teaches you how to act in general, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think definitely finding a drama school, and yeah, it will help you get the knowledge and all that. So yeah,
for me, I would say coming together as creators or as people as well, to discuss what type of mental health issues that we may face, mentally or even physically as well. But that's how, for me, that's the only way you can progress in sharing your thoughts, your feelings into your art and creativity. But yeah, just if we all just came together as human beings, and just maybe research different types of mental health crisis people can go through. And if you can relate to that as well, mostly I forgot to say that, and if you can maybe relate to it as well, I think that could save a lot of people, if our stories are being told. So yeah, that's it really.
How can we change the way people view putting emotions into their art? Well, in my opinion, I feel like the way it can be changed is to keep going through it. Don't feel no way about putting what you feel out there if you want to put it out there. Don't let anybody tell you that you are being too emotional or this is going to start too much controversy. If you feel like that's how you feel, speak it. Because here's the thing, a lot of people that don't support people with lower numbers or are up and coming and trying to do their thing, or say, oh, this person's too emotional, this person's too deep, what's the word I'm looking for? Too much of a deep thinker. Most of the things they listen to on a daily basis, whether it be a podcast, music, or whoever, from people that are celebrities or more famous or more wealthy, all do the same thing, but they accepted them. You feel like you're gonna get to that point and you wanna really push your art and showcase to people why conveying your emotion through your art is better than speaking. Do it and feel no way. Don't let anyone tell you that you're being this or you're being that to portray your emotion. Don't let anyone put a feeling on what you're supposed to feel.
Yeah, so it also gives me something to talk about. My emotions give me drive. It gives me the rhythm, it gives me the beat, it gives me something to talk about, you know? It gives me passion. My emotions. It gives me relatability as well for my acting. It's like, how am I gonna represent this character to other people? I remember once the founder of my drama school said, the character is supposed to be an extension of yourself. And you know, as individuals, we're all multi-dimensional. So you might have a good side, you might have a not so good side, you might have a funny side, you might have a serious side. So you can funnel that into your different characters. It doesn't have to be some completely made up individual. Your real life can inform a character that you're playing or going to play, even if you've never been in their particular shoes. Like, I remember something I was reading during lockdown, that we've all experienced loss to a certain degree during lockdown, whether that's the loss of a family member, the loss of a job, the loss of our freedoms, the loss of our rights, could even unfortunately be the loss of our health or our mental health. Believe me, I'm with you guys who have. But I'll tell you more about that another time. So yeah, I guess letting your emotions channel into a particular character so that you can do that character and that person justice, so you don't end up judging them or, I don't know, looking at them through like glass, where you're not touching them and really embodying them, not representing them to the audience in a true, honest and authentic light.